I'm waiting for the button. Okay, yep, we're good.
Okay, great. It's Tuesday, July 14th, 8:34 a.m. And this is a mayor manager's meeting. And on the Teams call is Allison McKinney-Brown, Jade Truscott-Reed, Nathaniel Sierra, Stephanie Carlisle, and Shawn Lewis and Linda Olson. So Shawn,
Great. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So you can't see the agenda then, right? Do we?
I can because Jade sent it out. I just can't see her make live changes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Other than that, I think it'll be fine. But it's still not opening in Google Chrome. That's so weird. All right. Well, let's get started with July 20th. As you know, we have a study session on the off-leash dog program. Pretty short staff presentation, as I think you guys are familiar with the Parks and Rec recommendation, and so plenty of time for discussion. And then on consent for the...
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Is 10 minutes really enough for them?
Christina thought so.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to, the only thing staff is going to do is give kind of an overview of how the parks came to be off leash. And that's pretty brief, probably maybe even less than 5 minutes. And then the Parks and Rec Commission member or two are going to be giving their recommendation to you.
Okay.
And so I think that that's going to be pretty brief too, she thought.
Okay.
Jade, that's the time frame that Christina put in, right?
Yes, so I had actually spoke with her after you guys had put in the 10-minute presentation time and the 50-minute Q&A for it.
Mm-hmm.
She's comfortable with that.
Okay. Great. All right. Moving on, the first item on regular agenda is approval of the strategic plan. And we did want to ask, all we've done is made the minor updates and added the ranking that you guys added. Do you want that on consent or on regular?
I think we should do it on regular just to, well, I don't know. It just seems like it's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. And then we have the rugged computers purchase, which is, that's the one I think that's over my spending limit. It needs to come to you all. And then we have an IGA with the State Department of Revenue, sales and use tax software system, which we're purchasing. And then we have a Little Dry Creek Plaza drainage and flood control improvements IGA.
Good.
Questions on those?
Looks like a manageable meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah. And then on the 22nd is our special meeting for the town hall on modern policing. Did I throw out that name last night? I was wondering if you guys had thoughts on that. We've kind of struggled with what to call this.
Say what was your idea?
Well, we could call it anything, but in some ways I'm stealing a little bit from Littleton, who used the term modern policing in theirs, but telephone town hall on modern policing.
Modern just seems so old. I'm sorry, the postmodern.
We're not married to it at all. I would love to have you guys tell us what you think it should be
century?
called.
21st century.
How about 21st century policing? Because that's really what we're talking about. I don't know. Modern just is like the 60s to me. I realize it's just that I teach about postmodernism.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so the town hall on 21st century policing.
Sure. Nathaniel, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. We'll get that changed. And then I appreciated the feedback last night on the format. I think we'll be able to accommodate both Rita's comments to me, and then Cheryl's comments about the quantitative. We'll try to have a mix of both. Moving on to the 27th, we'll have a proposed stormwater improvement project, South Central Drainage Basin projects overview. We are looking at, Jade, help me decipher the notes there. 30-minute PowerPoint complete by early August?
So they just have to have this to you guys by early August, but they do have a 30-minute PowerPoint.
I'm sorry, we're having a little trouble hearing you.
Sorry. Is that better or?
Yes,
Yep.
that is better.
Okay. I just realized it's coming from my laptop, which is all the way across my desk. So it's going to be a 30-minute PowerPoint, and the only reason why I put complete by early August is that's the flexibility we have with this item. To get
Thank you. Thank you.
So
that
we don't
currently, right.
Yeah.
So that's one we can look at. And then return to in-person meetings. We had said we were putting that on the 27th. Water and sewer rate fee progress update number 2. Court update with Judge Jefferson. Financial review for June. And a kickoff of Title 16 Community Outreach Joint Session with Planning and Zoning Commission. And it looks like we have the time frames all put in there except for the return to in-person meetings.
Could under the return, could it say discussion? I don't want the public to think we're returning yet.
Yeah, good idea.
Discussion of in-person meetings. Or,
Yep, I can definitely put that in there. And then the only times that we have in there, those are just the presentation times. So we do need the discussion times. The only one that I have that was requested was the Title 16. They are concerned that it will be a lengthy conversation. However, they're not sure if there will be necessarily a PowerPoint yet. So it would be probably 5-10 minutes of introductions for all the guests that they will have there. Is what I've been told, and then from there, they're just wanting it to make sure that the conversation is long enough to encompass the whole topic.
And then, Mayor, I think I've mentioned this to you before, but if you see a presentation that you think is too long, Jade and I go back to them and say, we really need to get this down to X number. For instance, the water and sewer rate fee progress update. As you've said before, I don't think anybody can sit through 60 minutes of data on water and sewer rates. Well, you've just said that in general, not about that topic, and I agree. So yeah, if you have other thoughts on that, we can.
Well, right now, that's 60 minutes, just that alone. That doesn't, if we did do that and that's what they needed, I mean, I think we heard from at least one that they don't want us to cut people off if that's what they need. But if it's 60 minutes and we have a conversation, we're probably up to an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's 30-minute PowerPoint with the discussion on the central drainage basin and our proposed water improvement. And then, I mean, there's a lot on this night, so I'm trying to think what can we move, what can be cut down or shortened. Why would it take an hour to explain the water rates?
I'm actually texting Peter now. I'm not sure why that is so long.
Mayor, I actually think 30 minutes for the proposed stormwater, that first item, that seems like a lot. To me, it seems like it's a lot of information that we already know. If we're just talking about S3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can check with Maria on that too. It's going to be actually quite good news that you're going to be presented with, not to spoil the party, but yeah, I can see if she can get that down to maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20.
Yeah.
20 minutes, and then we need to give direction. Is that right? Or is it just information?
Yes. No, I think you'll be giving some direction.
So we're going to need at least 30 minutes to talk about it, do you think? Or do you think it's going to be pretty clear?
Jade, can you read the description on that for us, please?
Engineering analysis has been completed for project S3. Staff and consultants will review proposed improvements.
Okay, so maybe there isn't direction needed. That sounds like it wouldn't be as quite as robust of a discussion.
Well, we've got time. You can figure it out with her before next Tuesday.
Okay, perfect.
And you want to put for 30-minute discussion for now? Or no?
You're saying 30 minutes total, right?
Well, I'm thinking if she can get it down to 20 minutes and then maybe have 15, 20-minute discussion, I just think this, I don't know how this, if it's pretty clear cut, it'll go short, but if it isn't, maybe it's because I'm just used to having this conversation take forever for us, but well, Daniel, do you think it'll just take 10 minutes?
No, I think 20 minutes sounds right to me.
Okay.
By the way, I got to jump off real quick. I got to make a quick phone call. Be back on in like a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other changes? Mayor, it's a good point that it's most important for us to get the time frames right on the next meeting because we'll have another mayor manager before and we'll have a little more information for you. So.
Yeah. And on the kickoff for the Title VI, Jade, were you saying 15 minutes per person and that's what's 45?
No, so it's 15 minutes is just for their presentation. About 5 to 10 minutes of that will be introducing all of the people who will be at your presentation, is what I've been told. And then they're not sure if they'll have a PowerPoint at this point. So most of it will be a lot of dialogue back and forth between council and the presenters. Okay. And that's why they requested the 45-minute Q&A.
Okay. For the 5 or 10 minutes of introductions, are these people who are from outside of the city? Is that why we're taking time to do that?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah, it's the consulting team.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would be an hour total for that topic, if you guys are okay with moving forward with those times.
I think people want to do this one, so I think an hour is fine. And
right.
we've got to spend time on the water and sewer rate thing. So
haven't heard back from Peter yet, but I'll let you know.
That's fine. We can figure that out.
Okay. Moving on to August 3rd.
Yeah.
We have the Citizen of the Year as a study session topic, as well as the Communications Department study session topic. And then the only thing right now on your regular agenda is the EPBA agreement.
Let's keep it like that.
Yeah. And then the 10th of August, we have on study session, review 2020 operating and capital budget presentation. We also have the Budget Advisory Committee 2020 annual report review.
Is that 2020, 2021 that they're going to?
I think that they do that. Don't they do the annual report for the
budget to go off of? So they're put together. From what I understand, I may be incorrect, but from what I understand, they'll review the previous budget with the committee and go over last year, and then you guys will move into the 2021 planning.
That's not how it's been set up in the past. They give us their perspective on the 2021.
I can definitely reach out and see if it needs to be changed for 2021.
If it's a retrospective, it's a view of the last year. We have them anytime earlier, but they're supposed to give us feedback on the 2021 budget, unless there's another time they're coming back to do that. That might be the case.
I was thinking
about it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was thinking last year that we had two things from them. One was kind of an annual report of what was great and what worked, what we did. And then they also said, here's what we think you should be investing more in. But I could be wrong.
Well,
we'll get some feedback.
Fine, but you were brand new, so you might remember everything from those first days.
No, probably it was all a blur, but
I think I was so relieved you were here. I probably was like, oh, great.
Yeah, but we'll get clarification on that.
Well, if they
right now, that's
that's probably what it is.
Okay. We also on August 10th have. We just did that. Oh, Okay, we just haven't done the 2 items that are there on for executive session. Yeah.
Yeah.
August 17th, we have appointment of the associate judges and municipal court judge salary, floodplain language adoption, and capital budget discussion. Oh, excuse me, that's August 24th.
Let me ask you about the executive sessions again.
Okay.
If there is almost nothing on the 3rd, should we move them to what is typically a regular meeting? I mean, we've been counting them all as special meetings, so it's just not like.
I think that's a great idea.
Because a 3-hour presentation before seems like it would wear us out to give you the best feedback. I'd prefer to move you up to the 3rd if we could.
And I did have it on the 10th just as a placeholder, as we weren't sure what date exactly we were going to move forward with the executive sessions. So that's why they were on the 10th, but I'm happy to move them to the 3rd.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's move them to the 3rd.
Well, we got a 3-hour presentation on the 10th.
It's a budget workshop.
Budget season.
Yeah. And actually, you know, I did share, Mayor, your thoughts with Maria S. that, well, I think I asked you guys if you really wanted to see those presentations again or really just the updates. The biggest update that we've got now is the compensation study that's been completed. And so the departments, as of 5 o'clock yesterday, had plugged in their revised personnel budgets. We had, I don't remember how many, 20 or so employees who are actually below the minimum of the range. And so really our key goal for this fiscal year is to get everyone paid to the minimum of their range. I think it's about $115,000 to do that.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
we think that's important. Yeah.
So the 3-hour presentation is I think what did my feedback to you was to try and give more dollars to that, right?
Oh, well, the feedback I was remembering was on the presentation itself, which you said, I don't think we have to have the departments represent, you know, what they've already presented, but rather just give updates on that. And so, and then maybe Maria could even do that. So she said that would be fine. And so we might not need the 3 hours on that, but yeah.
Daniel, what do you think people want? This is the first time for some people with budgets. Right?
It is, but it's the second time that this council has seen these presentations.
Right.
Because, yeah, they have been updated, though.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking what they're going to want next is, okay, so tell us what you're proposing. And that's what this is. So what are the dollar amounts and how is it looking?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to be brought on the 10th?
It is.
Okay.
It's like the first draft of, or I guess, not necessarily the first draft since
Hey,
the first draft
Margaret.
in May, but I guess, so
Yeah.
Shawn, I guess one thing that I would like to see, if it's possible, is that obviously during those workshops in May,
Right.
staff proposed a lot of information or a lot of different options. I guess if there's like a first draft coming in front of us on the 10th, can we see what dropped off and what obviously we're going to see what's on it, but what was dropped off, what isn't being considered that we were considering in May?
Okay.
And that might be a lengthy list, so maybe because obviously we're kind of like spitballing ideas in a sense, but
I think it'll be a short list on things that'll have dropped off from what you saw at the workshops in May. I think it'll be actually longer in terms of these are, you know, the additional, you know, costs that are budget items that, you know, between the council and myself are going to have to whittle down.
right.
But there hasn't been much that's dropped off of that. You know, we got actually pretty positive reception from individual council members on many of the budget items that were proposed new. The problem is that, you know, we really may not have the money to afford it. So I think we're going to have to make some tough choices. Although our numbers are trending good for 2020, as Maria gives the monthly updates, for 2021, I think a lot of cities are kind of hunkering down for the worst.
Yeah.
But we won't know that really till we get closer to the end of the year. So by the time you are asked to pass this budget, I think we'll have a better feel for kind of which direction we're going.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Everybody's having to play this by ear, so.
Yeah. And then the 24th, we have another budget discussion, financial review. Moving into September, we know well in advance we have this planned unit development, 3002 South Huron. And building and fire code adoption, middle of September, and that's it.
And for the public hearing, that's just the earliest date it could come to council. So it may not be on September 8th. It could potentially be the 21st.
Okay.
Good to know.
Thank you.
If it was on the 21st, that's 2 public hearings on the 21st. We'd have to be careful about what else is on.
Yes.
Both of them have to happen, so.
Yeah. Moving on to, are we ready to move on to council requests?
Yep, I'm fine.
Okay. So y'all are going to have to help me, and I'm going to reach out to Joe. He had 2, and John had 1, which was just an information piece from the pesticide. He wanted to see the state, what we submit to the state for that. But I did not get Joe's council request, so I'll reach out to him this morning unless one of you has those.
I thought I wrote things down. What did he ask for?
Hi, Dugan.
I guess I asked for something with the downtown, with the DDA. I was asking for who did they already get data from or do interactions with in their engagement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't have anything on the.
So great.
I'm trying. I don't remember. Do you remember what section we were in when Joe had something? What was it?
He had one on the first item, and then I think he had one on the third. But I can reach out to him and get those.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't get them down.
Yeah. I thought I wrote them down. I've got John's down, but not. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I do appreciate the feedback on the presentation. So that the feedback I'm going to give to staff is, no need to read slides, please don't. And then don't put too much information on each slide. And then just, really monitor the timing that we've committed to and stick to it.
Yeah, I think that helps. There was I don't want any of them to feel bad about the amount of information they give us, though, because it's incredibly helpful. They're very good at producing lots of background for us, and I don't want them to stop that. If there's just a way that they can present maybe the highlights that are so important for our decision making, that might be useful. Or, do the slides like they did, but don't have to talk about it each one so intensely. That trust that we've read them.
Right.
I think everybody's got a different way of doing presentations, so.
I did want to ask Shawn, under the future study session topics, I did put Inglewood Housing Authority. Did you want to address that? Okay.
Well, we're really waiting on them, but I appreciate you putting it on there. We are waiting on the developer and/or Inglewood Housing Authority to request a letter of support from us, but I don't think we should proactively do that. But I'll check in with Lindsay on that. Mayor, you're briefed on this topic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had talked about having them anyway do a report, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yes, and we actually do have, Lindsay and I settled on a date for that, but I put it pretty far into the fall, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Was it September 28th or October 12th, Shawn?
I'm looking up.
There's nothing on it.
She. Maybe she hasn't actually. She said fall would be fine. We haven't put it on the calendar. I thought we had settled on a date. So yeah, Mayor, we can do that maybe September or October.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
That sounds good. September. We'll still be doing budget stuff, won't we?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Maybe latter part of October would be best. That would be after budget. Jade, if you can put on the future topics annual update from Inglewood Housing Authority or Innovative Housing Concepts. I think that's all I have.
I have just one. Oh, go ahead, Jade.
Oh, no,
No, it's Allison.
Did you have something, Allison?
Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that we can have the update to the traffic code ready to go anytime in August.
Okay.
I really wanted to see how the agendas are falling out, because honestly, I think it's probably a 30-minute discussion. How much can you say about it? So my plan is just to send that out to the city council in draft form for them to review well in advance, as soon as I can get that out to them. But if we wanted to put it on for study session, just for council members to ask questions, I know that there's 2 or 3 new things that are going to be added into it that council members might want to ask about.
Can we put it on the 3rd, or is that too early?
I think the 3rd is fine.
We do already have 2 study session topics for the 3rd. The 17th, we do not have any study session topics. I do just want to mention that.
The 3rd of what? August?
Correct. We have a 15-minute presentation for the Citizen of the Year, and then 15-minute for the Communications Department update.
Honestly, I think it's too important of a topic. I would prefer to put it on the 3rd.
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. Also, and because we only have one motion that night, I think that's possible to do that. Allison, I hate to bring this up, but where are we with the ethics policy?
Well, we're not close on that. However, here's the thing about it. We've had such packed agendas. I have not made it our priority. I think it's a critical issue, but I have not made it the priority. If you say that you'd like to have something like on August 17th to discuss, we will have something ready to go on August 17th.
No, I don't feel like this compelling. We got to hurry up and do this. I'm just wanting to make sure that we get it done in this year. It would be nice to get it done in this year anyway. I think right now we're just operating under the state, which is fine, right?
We're not operating under the state. We're operating under our own statement, which members of council have said they would like to see updated and clarified.
Okay. Yeah, let's try and get that done before the end of December. What do you think, Nathaniel? I mean, it's one of those things that just, it's not a compelling thing until something happens, right? If we're looking at the police and trying to figure out how to make them the best they are, we should be looking at ourselves and figuring out how we can be the best.
Yeah, that's fine with me. So by the end of the year, or by the end of December, or by the end of November.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get with Jade and pick out a date, and we'll just plan on working toward that date, and then you guys can move it around as we get closer.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I think that was it for me. Nathaniel, do you have anything?
No, nothing from me.
All right, it's 9:04, and this ends our mayor manager meeting. Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you, you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.